Hello, this will be a short chapter. Well, it says physics chapter 10, but welcome back to the MCAT grind. It's just about a few tricks in mathematics. These are the relevant ones aside from the basics ones that I think everyone already knows, so I'll just skip that. I should already know that the exponent rules, the logarithm rules, but this is just a few that I think are important. For instance, sound level, as described in one of the psychology chapters about sound and senses. The decibel is counted by 10 times log the new intensity divided by the original intensity to find out the difference. So for instance, one's intensity is 1 and another is 10, then that's going to go up by 10 decibels. So for every 10 decibels, basically intensity doubles by 10. What's next? Right, exponential decay. Exponential decay, as described in the last chapter, is new amount of the substance equals n initial times exponent times the exponent of Euler's number to the exponent of the decay constant multiplied by the time. Now, this decay constant can be split into ln 2 over the half-life. So if we were to derive this equation, it would be basically negative ln 2 multiplied by t over the half-life, and we can get the ln 2 and e to cancel out basically, so it becomes 1 over 2 half times 1 over e to basically time over t. So it's like a derivation of the half-life equation. Arrhenius equation is a bit different. It is k, a constant, equals to the amount of substance times E to the power of activation energy divided by R, the gas constant, times temperature. The gas constant here is 8.3145. Joules per K, I'm pretty sure, because the K have to cancel out, and joules, activation energy, cancel out with joules, and that should arrive at a constant. Gibbs free energy describes negative RT, R gas constant times temperature against joules 8.3145, joules per temperature, joules per K, ln K equilibrium. This will give you the Gibbs free energy, the delta G of the reaction, whether it's negative, which means spontaneous, or positive, is non-spontaneous. pH is probably the one I worked with the most, as I'll do later in acid and base chemistry equations. Negative log H, the amount of protons present. Henderson-Hasselbalch is the extension of that. pH equals to pKa, which is individually for each and every compound, plus logarithm of the conjugate base over the acid. So if there's 10 times more acid, or the conjugate base, than the acid, that becomes 10, and log of 10 is 1, so that pKa is going to go up by 1, right? pH going higher means more basic. That makes sense because there's more base than acid. We also have a shorthand here. If you need to convert from log to ln, you need to multiply by 2.3. So log of 10, for example, is 1. Then 1 times 2.3 is just 2.3. So ln of what was I thinking? Ln of 10, will be 2.3. And ln of 1, log of 1 is 0. 0 times 2.3 is 0. So ln 1 is also 0. It's like very close. That's basically the approximation. Next, what we have is the ln of 2. You'll need to use it in exponential decay around 0.7. It's 0.693, but 0.7 is a better way to go. If you need to quickly derive a log of a concentration of a compound, that is N is a scientific notation, and like let's say 9.5 times 10 to the power of negative 4, for instance. And since negative can just be brought down here, the log would just be 4.95 as a quick way to derive it. and this will usually be in the proton's concentration. Okay, what we have here is some shorthand for trigonometry rules for physics. Root of 2 is about 1.4, root of 3, square root of 3 is about 1.7. We have the SOHCAHTOA rule, everyone knows. And here's the one that our teacher taught us back in high school. He said, if you need to figure out the cosine rule and sine rule and basically ratios, 0 degrees, and here pi over 2 is 9 degrees, right? And right here is pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3. If you want to figure out what sine 30 degrees is, 30 degrees is pi over 6, so over here, you put your finger here, and sine, basically you root, square root anything on this side, so square root of 1, that becomes 1, right? And divide by 2, so half. Sine of 30 degrees equals half. If you need to figure out what the cosine of 45 degrees is, 45 degrees equals pi over 4 over here, and cosine of that is root of this 2. Cosine is from this way, root 2 over 2. So that is basically the ratio of cosine of 45 degrees. Alright, that's pretty much it.